Sources. Jets believe they've avoided the worst-case scenario with Zach Wilson's knee. Genuine belief it's not season-ending. MRI to confirm their feelings. The hope is that they're looking at weeks, not a year. That's the feeling as I leave Philly. Again, MRI final confirmation. Yeah, I mean confirmation. I don't know if they're gonna get an MRI to determine what the injury is, but I guess this reporter's report is they don't think it's an ACL tear, but they're getting the MRI anyway, obviously, and that would be very damaging to the Niners' hopes of trading Jimmy Garoppolo to the Jets. But
if he just has a sprained knee and he's out a month,
yeah, I mean you wouldn't do it then. But I mean honestly, you said this to me, and I have the same feeling, which is I don't want to see Zach Wilson miss the season. I know that, but
no.
But if he's out, I mean they go to the front of the line for Jimmy Garoppolo destinations.
Yeah, I actually felt a little uncomfortable tonight on the social media streets of this Pro Football Doc just starts throwing out he tore his ACL, where it didn't look good. It's clearly a non-contact jump. But I think if you're over 25 years old, we've seen enough non-contact injuries to have a pretty good idea. To me, that was like, I don't know, could have easily be a knee sprain. If you tell me tomorrow, knee sprain, they're hopeful he's ready in a month for week 1, I think that's very believable. Now, I've also seen enough that feel, borderline like innocuous moves, and then it's all of a sudden like torn ACL. You're like, what? So I'm prepared. I am rooting for him to be healthy. I did not get much joy of like, oh, the Niners swindled this one. I was like, I don't want to see Zach Wilson tear his ACL. Like I'd rather watch Zach Wilson than Jimmy Garoppolo play for the Jets. Now,
yeah,
like you said, if it is the worst case scenario and we wake up tomorrow and the MRI, wherever the hell he gets it in Hoboken or New Jersey, says torn ACL, is it out of the realm of possibility that Jimmy Garoppolo is on their team and they start, obviously you had mentioned something about the salary cap. We checked before we hopped on. According to Spot Track, it looks like the Jets have just under $4 million. So they would have to do some finagling. They could not trade for Jimmy's contract as is. I do think it would make a lot of sense for Jimmy to give it, given that he knows the head coach and definitely the offensive coordinator. And here's the other thing. While they did lose Becton, their starting right tackle, who in theory should be good, even though he hasn't now going to miss, he's going to play a game in 2 years. They have a first-round wide receiver, a second-round wide receiver last year and more, who everyone thinks is sweet. They signed the tight end from Cincinnati, who's not bad. They have multiple running backs. The dude they drafted last year from North Carolina, and I talked to someone with the Jets who said that Breece Hall, his running back at Iowa State, might be the best player on the team. Well, what do the Shanahan guys like to do? They like to run the ball. So they got multiple running backs, 2 wide receivers, and he knows the playbook.
Did you say they got Sauce Gardner, CJ Mosley? You talking about their defense too, or just their offense?
I'm just talking about their offense.
Yeah.
Like if I'm Jimmy, if he was just cut tomorrow, everyone's like, go to Seattle. I would want no part of Seattle. I would want no part of the Giants. I think the Steelers would be intrigued, even though it feels like are they just like dead set on going with their guys? Maybe, even if their guy is Mitch. I do think the Jets would make a lot of immediate sense given his knowledge of the 2 guys running the team and the offense. And just like when you looked at their depth chart, you're like, there are some pieces to deal with here, right? A top 10 wide receiver, more who a lot of people think are sweet, and 2 running backs. Like, it's not as shitty as it has been like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Even if Jimmy had to hey, we'll give you a $5 million base salary, high incentives if you start 17 games.
I'll just interrupt you real quick because I'm looking at over the cap, and these numbers can be different. They say $8.9 million in cap space, which, sorry, keep going. I just wanted to mention that. I mean, it could be at if it's 8.9, would Jimmy play for $19 million? The Niners pay him 10, they pay him 8.9, and you get a 3rd-round pick because you're paying him. How much would you pay for a 3rd-round pick from the Jets?
Whatever they wanted.
Yeah, would you pay $15 million for a 3rd-round pick?
Yeah, I mean, I would do business with him. I know that. We'd be on the phone. I would imagine. Would you be stunned if there is not some communication with the Niners and Jets tonight, or if you're the Jets, you don't put that juju in the air and you just wait, or you can't do business that way?
I don't know that you can wait. I mean, don't you have to kind of set up a contingency? They've talked before. They talked for the Debo deal. They traded. How how did they end up? No, I guess they haven't done a deal with the Niners, but
Because they just signed Tomlinson was a free agent.
well, I just happened to see they have the Niners 6th-round pick, but it came from the Texans. But I mean, they know each other. I mean, they don't. Whatever.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all that Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Kyle, and John have a little powwow tonight. After
well, because I think you're right. Because if the MRI says ACL, they'd want Garoppolo there by Sunday, right?
Saturday night.
Saturday night. But Mike Silver would be like, well, Jimmy could be there Wednesday. Did you read Mike Silver's Garoppolo article?
Well, guy, it's been well documented that Jimmy didn't text back with them over the years, right? Haven't we talked about that before? That Jimmy was hard to get a hold.
But it's always been kind of like, Jimmy, he goes underground. It's the first time it's ever been presented as, well, yeah, not ideal. Like, it's always kind of like, Jimmy, hard to get a hold of. But it's never been presented as, no, we were trying to get a hold of him. It wasn't just like, hey, bud, hope your summer's good. And he didn't get back to anybody.
Well, he signed the deal, and then OTAs was, a month later or whatever. What they want to talk about? That's my thing. Like,
I don't know. Playbook? I don't know.
Mike Silver was talking about 2017 or 18, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I read the article. We love Mike, and we saw him out there practicing the other day. And then it just jumped to Trey, and I'm like, I think he just put this in there because he had it. I don't even know why it's here.
Yeah, he wanted to throw a little fastball.
It was good. I enjoyed it because I started doing. I'm like, all right, who was here? Could have been Slowick. Who could have told it? Niners staffer. How many guys?
Well, he also threw in this like, hey guys, don't just think I'm your fucking booger eating blogger. Like Trey Lance's accuracy issues, or I was one of the guys that was critical. It started with me, and yes, quietly the 49ers coaches have some concern. Like, hey guys, I talked to these people.
Well, did you hear what Tim Ryan said on the beginning of the broadcast? Like, my question, one thing he's got to get better at, accuracy, between the hashes against zone. Like, that's a big part of this offense, and he's got to get better with. Like, that's what I want to see today. So
yeah, I think Mike.
You can love him and also think he's got to get better. I mean,
here's the one thing I know about Mike Silver on the internet streets. He's talking to the coaches that none of the people on the internet streets could. Those people would never speak to. There's no connection there. So he's got more connections in that building than I do. So it's like he's not just throwing shit at the wall and like, hey guys, Trey Lance arm fatigue. Like, no, let's face it. Who do you think it came from? Like, he's been around this team, I don't know, since Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. He knows the family. He knows the family. He knows the family. He ain't talking to Bobby Slowick. I'll tell you that much.
You think it came from Mike, Kyle?
I think it comes from John or Kyle. I think that's who Mike talks to. Mike does not talk to
Mike Shanahan
or him.
Yeah, when you say he knows the family.
But my thing is, it's coming from the top of the tree.
Yeah.
Mike, Kyle, John. Like Mike, while he might know some random coaches, I don't think he's spending time like, the quality control assistant's firing me some good info. No, it's like, Kyle, man, will you call me back?
Yes. So we'll see. I mean, we still got to wait on Deshaun. The Jets situation would be good for the Niners. It'd be bad for football. Like, Zach Wilson's a major part of the NFL. There's a million great storylines in the NFL, and Zach Wilson, and everyone argued over Zach Wilson, is one of those things. So
if you're, let's say, worst case scenario, he has a torn ACL tomorrow, which I'm not rooting for. I do not want to happen. I would rather have the Niners cut Jimmy Garoppolo than get a 3rd-round pick because Zach Wilson, I got all football season. There are just some Jets games on at 10 a.m. that you can't avoid. But do the Niners, the Watson thing who knows? There's no timeline on that. You never know. If you could get a 4th-round pick plus some of the money, do you do that deal immediately and just get him gone? You're not waiting on the Browns, are you?
No.
5th?
That'd be funny, though. It was like, we'll see, fellas. Just we're going to slow play this one. Just slow play it. The slowest slow play that anyone's
At
ever
what
slow
pick
played.
do you hesitate? 5th?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think you get from the Browns, though? Have you talked to the Browns already? I mean, Don, you might already know what the Browns are willing to offer.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly have.